Hey guys, we're back again. Well, as you can see, we didn't actually leave anywhere. But we want to teach you today how to plan your project, and we're going to talk to you about a few of the critical elements to building your business and the way that you structure and outline. When I speak to people, they have no clear idea about what they're working on or why they're working on it in many cases. And I'm not talking about necessarily the purpose today. I'm talking much more about the actual strategy and the mapping and planning out of that business.
It's basically a four-step process. When you break it down, it's really simple. It's 4 steps. And that's what we're going over right now.
So what's step 1?
Well, you got to build a list first. At the end of the day, the list is your business. So step 1 is build a list.
Yeah, and this is so fundamental. You've heard the money's in the list. Look, here's my confession of the day, and you know I have many confessions, but 3 years at least I spent online, so I thought, and never really built a list. I made some money, don't get me wrong, but it was just so ineffective, so inefficient compared to what I could have been, should have been doing, but I didn't, right? And so once I figured this out, I realized that actually one of the things I'd been taught that was definitely very right is that you need to get a squeeze page up, you need to be building a list, you need to have list segmentation, you need to be nurturing those lists, you need to be contacting and building autoresponders and sending frequent mail out, or you need to be doing all of that. And I hadn't been. So you know, this is such a common mistake. This is something, a pattern I see so often when I speak to people at events or, you know, here in Thailand. And I see that very, very few of them are actively really focused on getting that list built. Now, I'm not suggesting you have to build a list of 10,000 before you move on and start making any money. But you do need to have some form of page up. You do need to have some form of incentive so people will actually give you their name and email address. And it needs to be, you know, a high value exchange so that somebody gives you their name and email address, they're going to get something that they really appreciate, and that's going to establish a good, strong beginning to your relationship. And then you've got to follow up, and keep that content coming. So, and of course, you know, this is exactly what we're doing right now. The idea of these videos is to help build a stronger relationship with you, and for you to get some valuable content in exchange for us having collected your email in the past. So, you know, this is very much the plan, and this is very much what you should be doing.
So, should you have a business, like say you're getting started and you're thinking of what you're going to do, a service, a product, affiliate marketing? What's a good way to get started with a list being built?
So obviously the first stage is to get the squeeze page up, and today there's no excuse for that. If you haven't already got a system out there, you can go to send.fish. That's www.send.fish. Now, I'm not here to promote SendFish, but SendFish is our autoresponder. It's a fraction of Fusion HQ, and it's got a free account in there. So basically, you can go out and you can build the, you know, it's got the template builder. You can build the squeeze page. You can build your lists. It's got a free autoresponder in there and everything. So there's no excuse these days. You don't need to be technical. You don't need a bunch of different tools, and you can even do it for free. So that's got to be stage 1.
Do you have to have your product already or your service set when you're creating the squeeze page? What copy is going on it? What are you giving away?
Okay, you need to know your niche, but for example, one of the things that I recommend the most is to do like a 7-part autoresponder, because you can give away a 7-part e-course, and this is much more valuable than a PDF or some report or a newsletter or any of that stuff, right? Why is it so much more valuable? Well, there's a certain level of perception involved with an e-course, but more importantly, it's giving you permission to contact the person who signs up once every day for 7 days, right? It's giving you an opportunity for them to see and expect content in their inbox from you on a daily basis.
You start becoming familiar to them.
Exactly, right? You're creating familiarity, you're creating repetition, and you're constantly in awareness. Now, if somebody said, where do I go to learn online content? And you say, well, you know, do you remember the guy that sent you one PDF, or do you remember the guy that sent you a sequence of emails with valuable content day in and day out? And of course, with frequency, you increase memory, and you increase presence and awareness, and you're the first person who jumps to mind. So that's very, very important, and dramatically increases the value and the return on your squeeze page. So the second step is, once that's all operating, and I'm talking, you could have like two or three addresses, two or three contacts on your list.
A list of 2 or 3 people.
Right.
Is what
That's,
you're saying.
that's all you really need to move to the next step. Now that doesn't mean you stop building that list, right? Obviously you've got to keep continuing that. But stage 2 is to monetize it. What's the fastest way to monetize it?
Well, you promote affiliate products.
Easy.
Yeah, to your list. So when you're promoting these affiliate products, you built an incentive. You got this list getting built through. They're going through your PDF or through your 7-part e-course, whatever you choose to do. Now, where do you find these affiliate products?
Variety of different places, right? You could go to ClickBank. You can go to CJ.com. You could promote something directly like Sendfish, or some of the other online services. It just depends on what your niche is. Go out there, find other products and services. Perhaps you could even partner by contacting somebody that you know has a good product or service and offering to promote them in exchange for a commission, which is basically being an affiliate. So there's so many different ways, but what you want to do is make sure that what you're promoting is going to be of high value and relevance to your list, because A, you won't get conversions if you don't, and B, they won't appreciate you or last very long on your list if you're not providing something that's of relevance or of high quality.
So basically, you're going to be, you have the potential to make money off these affiliate products that you're promoting,
Yep.
But your goal is not to make money here. Your goal is to offer them something really valuable, so you can start to gain an idea for step 3, which is going to be to build your own product.
Exactly. And so, again, we're focusing on purpose and passion before we are profit. But profit is not ignored, right? You've still got to make money on this. This is still the primary goal at the end of the day. I'm not sure the primary goal, but it's definitely a core part of your goal, is to be able to make money. Our business is not a charity, right? So you need to make sure that you have a way to monetize. So the affiliate products are great because you don't have to build the product, you don't have to build the copy, you don't have to set up merchant accounts, you don't have to deal with customer support. All of this is very time consuming, and I see a lot of people in their early days getting very stuck trying to perfect their product, trying to overcome all of the challenges of creating a sales funnel or writing sales copy that converts, getting the design and graphics done. All of this is a challenge in the early days, and it's a very real challenge. And we'll talk about that in a moment, because that's step 3. But step 2 is just about how to start generating a bit of cash. And this is really important because it tells you then whether your list is even responsive, whether the niche that you're going into, you can actually get it to work. And once you've proven that you can build a list, once you've proven that you can make money within inside of any given specific niche, now you're able to move on to step 3, because now your chances of success with step 3 are much, much greater. And as you said, step 3 is
Build a product.
build your own product.
Yeah, so at this point, once you get to stage 3, what would you say, Leon, is a good amount of email subscribers to have on your list?
Yeah, it's again,
It's really
this
subjective, but
there's no real right or wrong answer. The more, the better in many levels. But really, to test a proper niche, you're looking at least 1,000 to 5,000 people. Somewhere in that kind of range is enough to get you really started, so you can start getting feedback. Try to aim for this concept that the lean startup movement called the minimum viable product. Now, minimum viable product is exactly that. It's what is the absolute minimum that you can build that is still viable enough that you can sell. If you give products away, people don't necessarily always appreciate them, don't always necessarily give proper feedback. By getting people to buy, you're at least able to then have some cash flow to reinvest. You're getting people to put their money where their mouth is, and you're also getting complaints. Now, complaints are great because if you take them in the right way, that's called constructive feedback. You can do something with that. You can start learning how to improve and adapt your business. Now, if you go out and you've got a list of 100 or 200,000 people and you market to the whole thing straight away, then the chances are you're going to find problems with your product very early on. You're going to find that your sales page isn't converting properly, whatever it may be. We don't know. If we knew, then you could fix it before you started. This is the whole concept of minimum viable product, is getting something out there and finding where the problems are as quickly and as early as possible, so that as you scale, you are now leveraging that scalability. So that's the big picture there. It's really about building a product, giving it a test. If you can make the product work, great. If you can't, then scrap it or move on and redirect.
So in step 3, you've built a product. You said test. What are a couple ways to test?
Well, this is great thing about having your own list, right? Is when you've got your own list, you can start promoting to that existing list, and you can test it straight away without risking so much money on a lot of advertising or risking relationships with affiliates in the future.
Or if it's really risky, maybe even test it out on a subsector of your list.
Exactly. If you do have a large list, like we said, let's say you got up to 100,000 people, then narrow it down and do a test on just 5,000 or 4,000 people, somewhere around that, so you can get some real numbers, but without risking the full potential of your list. Once you've done the testing, and you should always be doing A/B split testing on this to check what's working, what's not, so you can refine your conversions. But once you've got all of that in place, you're now able to increase what we call the EPCs, or the earnings per click. That's the average visitor value, essentially. Well, that's great, because once you've done that, now you're able to invest more money in paid advertising, but you're also able to move on to step 4. Step 4 is
build an affiliate program. Create a digital sales force, basically.
This is it. So think of affiliates as commission-only based salesmen. That means that you're paying only on result. Now, this for startup companies is like phenomenal. It's actually one of the founding principles that Amazon used. They built a force up of salespeople that would go out there, build websites for them, go out on forums and promote for them, all through an affiliate link, and they only ever paid commission if a sale was actually made. And the great thing about this is that with affiliates, they are going out there doing SEO, they're going out there doing PPC, they're going out there doing social media, they're going out there doing their own list building and mailing to their lists. So all of the different strategies that you can think of to generate leads, to make sales, affiliates, or you can create an army of affiliates that are out there with a whole range of these different skills. You can't become a master of all, but you can take advantage of a whole army of people that are masters in each of those, as well as many others that are just learning and getting started and trying.
Some of these people have lists. They're just waiting to make you money. They don't have that marketing mindset. They don't have a product. They're not even promoting affiliate products, but they have a list. Maybe they have a YouTube channel with a lot of followers, and they're right in your niche. So what do? You hit them up and you say, hey, I got this product. Your people would love this.
Yeah.
Right there, they're making money, you're making money. That's just a little example.
And it's true.
There's so many different ways to do it.
And people say that, okay, it works in IM, it works in internet marketing and it works in this niche. Yes, it does, but it's also extremely competitive. So to get other affiliates to market for you in this niche can be challenging. They understand they understand the concept a lot easier. You don't need to sell them on the idea, but there's a lot more competition. In the smaller niches, you may need to sell them on the idea of becoming an affiliate, but there's far less competition vying for that same traffic. So there's pros and cons to every different niche. So whatever you're sitting there now, whatever excuse you may have thinking this won't work for me or this doesn't apply to me, realize that it can work. And I've seen it work in all different types of niches, and it's a strategy that is effective. So that's the 4-step process. Now, once you've completed step 4, once you get people actively promoting for you, what next? Well, if you realize it's actually a loop, because those affiliates that sent you the traffic have now built your list, either because those traffic or those prospects have now opted into your list and joined your free list, or more importantly, they've bought your products.
Because these affiliates are sending buyers to you, so they're not growing their list. They're just making some commission, but your list is growing. So now this is where it reciprocates.
And what's the most powerful list? It's buyers list.
Buyers list, yeah.
Right. I mean, this is the thing: is once you expand your buyers list, those list subscribers, if you will, they will be worth far more than any of your free opt-ins. Right, the average dollar value for each buyer goes up considerably. So this means that when you go and you start trying to market other people's products as an affiliate again, back to step 2, you're going to get much better conversions from your lists in terms of the number of people who buy and the commissions that you make. You now also have a much larger list of buyers, so that when you create your next product in step 3, you're now increasing the number of conversions and the number of sales that you're making in step 3. So now step 3 becomes far more profitable and gives you much more leverage. Now that you've got more products in your step 2, you're now able to acquire more affiliates or get affiliates sending more traffic to make more sales. The cycle continues. You go around and around in this kind of ever increasing spiral of the the build a list, promote affiliate products, build your own products, build an affiliate program.
Yeah, and by the time the third or fourth time or even the second time you get to step 4, you could start offering higher commissions on your products to these affiliates,
Yep.
which makes them buy more, which grows your list even bigger, and then you could start, producing second upsells, second products, third products, and it really just starts growing after you've been through this cycle once.
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys out there, they're actually giving 100% commission away on the front end product. Why? Because they know the back end, they know they've got other products in the funnel later on. So you've got to realize that, this is the essential business model. Now, a lot of people try and go straight to step 3. For me, that's kind of a bit crazy. That's like trying to learn to run before you can walk, because you've got so much to learn. You've got to learn how to build the sales funnels. You've got to learn how to build products. You've got to learn to write copy. You've got to deal with graphics. You've got to deal with much larger teams or getting support. You've still got to go back and then do traffic generation and list building. So it's like you've jumped to step 3, but you've still got to return back to step 1. So there's no real focus. So if you're sitting there at the moment and you don't know where you are on that 4-step cycle,
or you're creating a product and you don't have a list, and you're just kind of like creating a product based off what you think the market wants.
yeah, you could end up finding that you waste a lot of time, a lot of energy, and end up in a big bucket of frustration, right? And I see this again and again and again. So take the time right now to map out and draw out those 4 blocks on a piece of paper. Write down exactly what you've done for each of those 4 steps, if you've done anything at all yet. Recognize what you need to do and where you need to focus, and do only that for the rest of at least this week and the next week, right? Focus on just becoming really, really good at step 1, and then moving on to step 2. Step 2 doesn't take so long, but it's an important important point to recognize as being separate from the other 2, step 1 and step 3.
And it's exciting too once you get to step 2. That's when it starts to get fun.
It gets real. Once you get money in the account, it becomes real. So
we're closing up here. We're a little past 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Leon, I always got to stop them, but yeah, as we're closing up this four-step system video,
yeah,
it's important to recap it.
it is. And at the end of the day, this is really, really important to understand that all businesses are essentially made up of a source of different leads. They're all made up of a landing point that is not just a landing page, but what's the connection point? Where do you first meet the customer? Is it on a squeeze page? Is it on a phone call? Is it in a shop front? Is it at a seminar? Where do you first meet that? What's that first point of contact with the customer? Next, what's the process? What happens to them after that? And then finally, what's the follow-up? So again, try and understand how to map this whole process out, understanding very, very clearly where are the leads coming from. Focus on just 1 or 2. Focus on how am I converting them when I first meet them. Is my intention to get them on a list, or is my intention to sell them a product? How am I doing that? What happens to them once they've opted in or once they've purchased? What's the process? And after I've got that contact, how am I storing that contact? What mailer am I using? And then how am I contacting and following up with them to increase my sales and convert more leads into additional sales? So again, it's all about process, it's all about planning, and it's about being clear of the big picture and understanding exactly what you have in place for each of those different steps. So again, I want you to go away once you finish reading this and just map that out on a piece of paper, get some clarity so that you can see where you should be focusing your energy. So that's it for this section. We're going to follow up tomorrow with another video for you. We're going to carry on recording it straight after this. But we're going to be talking about leverage. We're going to be talking about how do you really understand what you need to be focusing on. Now that you've got your map, now you've got your plan, how do you really understand where your best point of leverage is in your business? And there's different ways of leveraging. And here's the most important, John mentioned this before, automation. How are you creating passive income? There's only two ways that you can automate anything. Right? Whatever it is, there are only two fundamental ways that you can automate. And most people have no plan, no clue, no idea that there's no strategy built in how to leverage these two factors. So I'm going to tell you exactly what they are, so that you can start planning for real passive income and really scale and leverage your business. So that's tomorrow. Tune in then. Have a great day as always, and see you there.
See you tomorrow.